Hey guys, Dave decided. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit of a story time where I talk about a past experience that I've had. Now this has been some time since this experience has happened, so I feel a little bit more open to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it necessarily at first because I was embarrassed to talk about it, but I feel like maybe this story will help some people who are considering auditioning and stuff like that. So this will be a good reference video for you and know what to expect and know what red flags are. So no, this is not clickbait. We are going to get into it. So if you're new here and you're interested in story times and stuff like that, hopefully I will be making a more story time soon. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so be notified anytime a new video drops. And if you're a hater, like to be the first to leave your hates comments, don't forget the subscribe button and that notification bell also so you can be the first to do so. Now, let's jump into it. Now, let me backtrack and give you a little bit of a briefing on how K-pop label auditions work in case you are unaware. The ones where they allow anyone to audition, they're called open casting, open calls. So basically you'll see something, a listing online, or you'll see a video posted by the entertainment saying that they are ready to take applicants and start casting people. In which case you just go over the website, you put in your information, and they'll give you a time and place as to when and where you should go, line up, and start auditioning. Now, I've done singing auditions before, but I did it mainly because my friend was doing it and I wanted to support her, so I thought I would be in line and do it as well. There was never any intention to take that seriously and to audition seriously. Everything that I was doing was pretty much for fun and for the sake of my friend doing it as well. But there was one time when I wanted to audition seriously, and this is what we're going to talk about today. I saw an audition call for a very popular label. I can't say which one it is, but it is definitely a very popular one. And they were looking for singing, dancing, and model. Now, I'm not much of a singing and a dancing type of person, but I can do a little bit of singing and dancing, but mostly I like acting and modeling. I definitely wanted to try something different from what I had done before, and I wanted to take this one a little bit more seriously. I wanted to see how far I could get and what I could actually do. So I wanted to give modeling a try, but I'm not like the tallest male, and I'm still considered pretty short for a male model. And so I didn't know if they wanted to, I didn't know if they were necessarily just looking for high-end fashion runway models or if they were looking for more like casual everyday models where you're just like a regular person and you're doing like an IKEA ad or something. I didn't know what they were looking for, so I wanted to audition and try and see maybe I can get a role that doesn't require me to be looking like a chiseled jaw, six-pack abs, and 7-foot tall type of guy. So I filled out all the information and I went ahead and went to the entertainment by myself to make the audition. You do have to treat this like a normal audition, so you do have to bring your comp card. This is a card with your name, your height, all the information, and obviously some pictures of some work that you've done. And I have my Instagram, so I took some pictures from my Instagram and I put it on there, and I got it printed out, and there you go. Actors would obviously have to bring their headshot if they were accepting actors. Singing and dancing, you would just have to prepare kind of your little snippet that you were going to be singing and dancing up. When I went there was quite a few people there, not too many from what I had seen from past auditions, but I just thought that I was a little bit too early, which might have been red flag number one. I went and looked at the announcement, and it didn't seem like too many people were seeing the announcement. It wasn't widely spread everywhere on social media. So I thought maybe most people had missed it and they were only just casting maybe a few people. I started talking to some people around me and they were all very excited to do their singing and dancing. So it made me feel good about the audition, that I was doing something maybe legit. So my turn finally comes up and then I go in and I do a little bit of a walk. It's not too big of a runway. It's like very, very small, maybe like 10 steps, 5 steps. And then you pose and then you do your thing. So you do your little walk, you're supposed to be looking right into the camera, but through the side of the eye, you can kind of see them whispering. My thought process was anxiety. I was getting very, very nervous, but I thought maybe it's a good thing. Maybe they're talking amongst each other to see what role I can fit in and what ads I can do. In reality, it's probably them saying, ugh, this guy. So anyway, I finished the audition. They basically told me to stop whenever they were done and had seen enough. I gave them all my information and that was it. I left. I pretty much hadn't heard from them in a couple weeks, and at that point I was just kind of like, all right, well, I didn't get it. No big deal. Keep on going with my life. About a month later, I actually did get a call back from them, and they said that they wanted to try out a different kind of campaign. They had this one company that they were looking in particular that needed a lot of models, and they thought that I would have a good look for them, so they wanted to officially signed me to the agency. I was, of course, very, very excited. This is a huge agency. To even say that I worked with them or to even say that they had helped me or they're training me, whatever, it's an amazing thing. Basically, I go into the entertainment to kind of do a full body measurement. One of the head ponchos of the agency looks me up and down and says that I need to lose weight. Mind you, at this point, I was probably more leaning on the lean side. And that's just because I have a high metabolism and it's difficult for me to gain a lot of weight. So for them to say I needed to lose weight, in my mind, I was kind of like, how small do you want me to be? Like, I'm pretty small already. They basically wanted me to get down to a really, really small weight because they wanted models to look a certain way, where if I couldn't have that look of 6 foot tall model with abs or whatever, they wanted someone who was really, really skinny that would be able to make a different type of statement on a runway or whatever. Given that this was a Korean entertainment, this felt very weird to me how they would want this type of look, as from what I was aware of, K-pop labels all usually wanted kind of a uniform look within all their models, all their dancers and singers. So I was very surprised. But of course, they said that they knew what they wanted to do and that they knew that this is what needed to be done. So they put me on a very strict diet, like extremely strict. I was probably only eating about 1 meal a day and not much. And then that went on for probably about 2 months where I was only eating that 1 meal. And then it came to a point where I still wasn't thin enough. Mind you, I still had not gotten to my first gig yet. Still hadn't gotten paid. I still hadn't made any money yet. Still working, doing my normal job, which is extremely difficult because you're doing a normal job with no energy. So finally, after a few months, they do their check-in and they check my body and they said that I still hadn't lost enough weight. At this point, I had extremely low blood sugar and everything was just really low. I was dizzy all the time. I had drank a lot of water. They were even at this point telling me to stop the water because I was retaining water weight. I was just sitting there and I was like, how skinny do you want me to be? I can't be any thinner than this. So about a couple weeks later, they finally sent me to their first gig that they wanted me to go in. Apparently I was still too fat for them, which was just insane to me. So they sent me over there and I went in and I did the shoot. Now the shoot was they stripped me down quite a bit. I wasn't used to being kind of that stripped down, that naked almost. It wasn't necessarily that the shoot itself was a shoot that required me to be naked. It was a shoot that had me changing in public in front of people. And I was just obviously very uncomfortable with that, mainly because I didn't like how my body looked at that point. I was so skinny and it was just not good. But of course I wanted to make the agency happy. I had signed the contract already. So there was just no way to get out of it and I wanted to do this. And I knew that this particular gig had paid a lot. So basically I just swallowed all my dignity. I just changed naked in front of people. A lot of people saw me naked and I just did the shoot. It was whatever. There was at one point where I was changing and I had lifted this shirt over my head and I think the shirt got caught in my neck here. And for kind of like a brief second, it's something that wouldn't hurt me now, but in that moment, after not have been eating and not really have been drinking water that much, I couldn't breathe for a second and I passed out. The next thing I know, I was in the hospital and they were force feeding me food through the IV needle and they were trying to raise my blood sugar up. They were trying to raise everything up. And I was sitting in the hospital and I didn't know what's happening. I was super dizzy. I didn't know what happened. Some people from the shoot were there and they were trying to help me out. But other than that, no one else was there. No one from the agency was there. Eventually the agency did find out while I was still in the hospital and they sent me a text saying that they were going to terminate my contract. Thank God, honestly. And that was the end of my relationship with this agency. Now I lost thousands of dollars from them because I never got paid from that gig that I did. I never got paid from the time and effort that I had to put in to prepare for that gig, and I just didn't make any money from anything. I know there were photos taken of me that ended up being used, so I should have still been paid for those photos, even though I couldn't finish the entire shoot day. So it was just very interesting to me how that ended up working. I'm honestly glad that I left the agency and that I'm no longer with them and that this experience is officially done with. These are some red flags that I guess you have to be aware of when signing with an agency, is if they tell you to do things that you are uncomfortable with right before you even sign the contract. Sometimes they'll even tell you what they want you to do. Make sure you do not sign that contract and make sure you go looking elsewhere because it is not worth it. And at the end of the day, if they don't get what they want, you're wasting your time, your energy, and your effort, and even potentially dying over something that you initially thought you wanted. So that was my story. I hope you learned something from this. I hope you enjoy this story time and let me know what you think. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm featuring this comment right here. Thank you so much for leaving. And as always, there'll be 2 videos at the end of this video that will be recommended to you, so I hope to catch you over there. See you then. Bye.